There's a surprising secret weapon in the battle against brain aging, and it's not a supplement, a crossword puzzle, or a kale smoothie. It's people. That's right, your friends, your neighbors, your book club buddies, even your talkative barista, they're all part of a powerful, science-backed defense system against cognitive decline. Because while it's easy to think of brain health in terms of diet and exercise, research increasingly shows that meaningful social connection is one of the most potent ways to keep your mind sharp and your brain from literally shrinking with age. Yes, shrinking. That's not just a metaphor. As we get older, certain brain regions, especially those tied to memory, decision-making, and emotional regulation, start to wither like unwatered houseplants. But studies using MRI scans have found that people with strong social networks tend to have more gray matter in key areas of the brain, including the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex. These regions aren't just important, they're essential for forming memories, managing emotions, and navigating daily life with a sense of clarity and purpose. In short, meaningful social interaction isn't just good for your mood. It's structural maintenance for your brain. The reason this happens comes down to stimulation. Every conversation, laugh, shared story, and argument with your overly opinionated cousin gives your brain a workout. Social interaction demands a lot: attention, memory recall, emotional processing, verbal fluency, empathy, and sometimes the ability to feign interest in someone's vacation photos. All of this engages the brain in complex, dynamic ways that passive activities simply don't. It's like mental jazz, improvisational, emotionally rich, and neurologically dense. And it's not just any interaction that helps. The benefits seem strongest when the connections are meaningful, the kind that make you feel seen, supported, and understood. These connections act like emotional scaffolding. They buffer stress, reduce loneliness, and promote a sense of belonging. Chronic loneliness, on the other hand, does the opposite. It's been associated with increased levels of cortisol, inflammation, and even accelerated cognitive decline. One large study from the University of Michigan found that lonely individuals had significantly smaller brain volumes, and not in the fun, minimalist sense. The emotional resilience that comes from close relationships is part of the equation too. When you're emotionally supported, your body is less likely to spiral into a stress response over every little inconvenience. That means lower levels of chronic stress hormones, which are known to damage neurons over time. Think of good friendships as emotional shock absorbers. They don't prevent the potholes of life, but they make the ride a lot smoother, and your brain thanks you for it. What's especially encouraging is how accessible this brain benefit is. You don't need to throw lavish parties or have hundreds of friends. Even a few close relationships, people you can confide in, laugh with, or call when you've lost your Wi-Fi password for the 5th time, can make a major difference. Regular conversations, whether in person or over the phone or even via emoji-laden text threads, keep the social circuits active. The key is consistency and emotional depth, not volume. And if you're thinking, but I'm more of an introvert, don't worry, this isn't a popularity contest. It's about quality over quantity. You don't need to become the life of the party. You just need a few genuine connections that allow your brain to stretch, emote, and engage. In fact, some of the most brain-beneficial relationships are quiet, steady, and filled with mutual appreciation for shared silence and good snacks. So while you're out there eating leafy greens and taking your brisk walks, which, by the way, are even better with a walking buddy, don't underestimate the brain-boosting power of a well-timed heart-to-heart, a long conversation over coffee, or a standing weekly phone call with a friend who knows all your weird stories and loves you anyway. Social connection doesn't just lift your spirits, it holds up your brain. One conversation at a time.